Greetings, calm, measured, stubborn Taurus. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader, and now I'm going to do the October 2020 tarot and astrology forecast for the sign of Taurus. And I'm going to start with a tarot layout, and then in the second half of the video, I'm going to talk about some of the planetary transits for the month of October. I can't talk about all of the planetary transits because it is a very dynamic month, a lot going on in the October sky. So I'm just going to touch on some things. But I definitely recommend that you follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, because there I will be doing daily and weekly updates about what's going on with the planets. And and also, of course, if you call me directly to get your own reading, that's the best, because it's very tailored to you. And I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the world. So as we enter the month of October, Taurus, you are looking very strong. Strength is your significator as we enter the month. And you were covered by justice reversed. So it could be, for some, this could be a literal legal situation that you're dealing with that maybe isn't going in your favor, or it might be difficult. But for those who aren't in a literal legal situation, it could just mean, justice in general is not being done, and you were trying to find strength. Anyway, you were very strong. The Ten of Swords, you were crossed by the Ten of Swords, and this is this could be a completion of some kind that's happening for you in the month of October, and it could also be mental obsession about something, and it could also just be utter exhaustion. The basis, we have the King of Swords reversed. So this is a man in October who is, it looks like he's perhaps uncertain about something at best. At worst, at worst he's deceptive. And it could be that he's not deceptive, but he's just withholding information. What's leaving is the Six of Pentacles. This is a financial award or distribution or disbursement you may have gotten in September, maybe August or September. What could come into being around mid-month is the Devil reversed. So this is very good. This is coming out of a situation that you have felt in bondage by. What will come into being around mid-month, it looks like a man wants to have a discussion with you about something. Fears or insecurities have to do with the Queen of Wands. And so this is a fire sign woman, potentially an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. But if it's not a fire sign woman, it could just be a woman who has a fiery personality that you are feeling a fear or an insecurity around. Others see you as the Nine of Swords reversed. So it looks like you are getting some liberation, getting some freedom, maybe clearing your mind of things, getting away from anxiety. Your positive feelings towards the end of October. Your vision is coming to life, but not quite in the way that you expected towards the end of next month. And then the outcome is the Nine of Pentacles reversed. So it looks like at the end of October, there could be a big expenditure that's happening. You could also be dealing with some feelings of around values and self-esteem and things at the end of the month. And the end of the month is a big moment for Taurus. A very big moment for Taurus, Halloween actually, astrologically. But I'm going to start with the beginning of October and then work our way to Halloween, so stick around. So as we begin the month of October, we have a full moon in Aries on October 1st. And the full moon of Aries is a very fiery full moon. It's a very bold, passionate full moon. And this full moon for Taurus, it's taking place in your 12th house of hidden karma. This is a very deep house. It's by far the most mysterious house, I think, of the zodiac. There are mysteries. There are what's hidden. There is what we can't see is in that house. So this Aries full moon on the 1st of October could really be illuminating what's been a blind spot for Taurus. It can illuminate something that's been hidden. It could also possibly illuminate things around mental health issues or spirituality. This is a great full moon for meditation. For Taurus, I would recommend on this day meditating as many minutes as the age that you are. That could be very centering and grounding at the Aries full moon. But this full moon also, it squares, it's conjunct Chiron and Lilith and Eris and Aries, and then it's going to square off with all of the Capricorn planets that are trining Taurus. So there's just a lot. It can be a very inflammatory full moon. It seems to be just igniting a lot that's already going on in the atmosphere for us as a collective. So that's October 1st. That's how we kick off the month. And one of the things that's interesting about October is that there are 3 moons. We have the full moon of Aries, October 1st. We have the new moon of Libra, October 16th. And then at the end of the month, we have the blue moon in Taurus. That's your full moon, Taurus, and it's blue. So at the end of October, we are really breathing in very rarefied air. And not only that, but that blue moon is conjunct Uranus, the planet of shakeups and surprises that is currently transiting Taurus. So there are some big surprises for Taurus in the month of October. October 7th, October 19th, and October 31st are dates to look at. October 7th, Uranus is forming an opposition with Mercury. And so again, Uranus is in your sign, but Mercury will be in the sign of Scorpio. And so there's this dynamic going on between Taurus and Scorpio on that day. It's a conversation where some surprise information could come out, an unexpected twist in the plot. For Taurus, this is having to do with your first house of yourself, your body, your health, your personality, your identity, and the 7th house of relationships, your marriage, or if you have a business partnership. So yeah, that's something to look for October 7th. October 2nd, Venus moves into Virgo. This is, while Venus is traveling through Virgo, Venus is in its fall, so it's not where Venus has its strongest representation of all the beautiful Venusian energy of art and beauty and justice. So those things might be, constrained a bit while Venus is traveling through Virgo. But for Taurus, Venus and Virgo, it is a trine relationship. I think it can be very, very creative energy for Taurus. It's also really great energy for, discipline and organization and things like that around your children. Really bringing attention to the health and fitness of your children. If you don't have children, it could be organizing and streamlining around your creative projects at this time. Venus is going to be in Virgo for almost all of October until October 27th when it moves into Libra, where it is in its exaltation, which that has its own stories that go with it, because everything in Libra this year, and that's a big thing about October, we're in Libra season. And Libra, whereas Libra season is usually this very romantic and social and artistic and creative season this year, because everything going on in Aries with Mars, Eris, Lilith, and Chiron, and then everything going on in Capricorn with Pluto, Jupiter, Pallas, and Saturn, there's a big cardinal cross clusterfuck happening. And basically, it's those planets that are in Capricorn, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn all together that have really defined and characterized 2020 in terms of like the pandemic and the shakeups, the breakdown of our systems and, you know, things like that. But Mars came into conversation with them at the beginning of September, and now the Libra planets will be opposing the Mars planets, squaring off, opposing the Aries planets, squaring off with the Capricorn planets. So there's a big cardinal cross happening during Libra season. So there's going to be, you know, struggles for power, basically, is the big theme. And again, I don't want to talk about all of the transits here because I want to keep the videos under 15 minutes. You can always follow me on Instagram for day-to-day transit updates. Always call me for a reading to get an overview of your entire October. But another big thing that's happening is that Pluto goes direct. Now, Pluto is a slow-moving planet. Pluto is going direct in your 9th house. That's the house of spirituality and philosophy and religion and higher truth. For some, this house is about cross-cultural experiences or international travel or exploration. For others, where it's applicable, this house could be about broadcasting and publishing. So anyway, the energy in this 9th house is going to be loosened up and it's starting to move forward. Everything in your 9th house, Taurus, has been retrograde for the past few months. You had Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Pallas Athene all in Capricorn, kind of in this retrograde huddle in your 9th house for the past few months. At least since May, they've all been retrograde. And it's been a time when things have felt pent up. People have not felt like they could move forward on things. And that whole retrograde season was really about recalibrating and rethinking and restructuring, reimagining. And you know, September 5th, Pallas Athene went forward, and that was the moment to make the first chess move on all that rethinking and going over things that you were doing. Then Jupiter went direct, giving some grace to the idea of moving forward now. And Saturn direct the last day and the last couple of days of September, and then finally this first week of October, Pluto. So now everything that's been pent up in that Capricorn area of your chart is loosening up. It's loosening up for the collective, and it's loosening up for us all individually where it shows up in our charts. And for the Taurus rising personality, that is the 9th house. For the Taurus rising personality, all those other planets in Aries are in your 12th house. And for the Taurus rising personality, all of the Libra season stuff will be happening in your 6th house. So, you know, there's the 12th house of hidden karma. There's the 6th house of like health and fitness, also your day-to-day routine, and also your work, plus the 9th house. So those are really activated houses for Taurus in the month of October 2020. And then October 7th, I talked about the Mercury-Uranus opposition. It's in your 1st house of self and the house of relationship. Mars is squaring off with Pluto October 9th, and then Mars squared off with Saturn at the end of September. So that's very much a part of the October dynamic. But Mars is also squaring Pluto October 9th. This could be violence. This could be explosive. And for the collective in your personal chart, you know, I would definitely, you know, the 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. And that doesn't mean every Taurus will experience it that way, but it could be, particularly if you're in the 22 degrees of, you know, anyway, I don't want to get into that. It's just, it's in your 12th house if you're a Taurus rising. And I guess another thing I want to talk about is Mercury is going retrograde October 13th. Mercury is going to be retrograde for the 3 weeks leading up to the election. It goes direct the day of the election. You could not write this shit. I mean, seriously. And so, you know, Mercury is the planet of communication, how we write, think, speak, how we deliver messages, how we correspond, how we communicate. So we can expect errors, we can expect miscommunications, we can expect miscounts, we can expect mail getting lost, we can expect, you know, once Mercury goes retrograde in Scorpio, I mean, it's a real cloak and dagger kind of vibe. And then it backs up into retrograde in Libra right before the election. So it's literally retrograde in the planet of justice the day of the election. But I'll talk more about that when I do the November forecast. I'm going to stay in October right now and just say that, you know, that's another thing on October 3rd, right before Pluto goes direct. It's has a quincunx with the North Node, which makes me feel like, you know, underneath the surface, there's a lot brewing with the powers that be. There's a big shift in power that's happening, and we may not be seeing it now, but it's unfolding, and it is immense and very consequential. So another thing that I will talk about is October 11th, the Jupiter is square the sun. Jupiter in Capricorn forms a trine with Taurus. Anyone who is born 15 to 21 degrees Taurus, this is a real opportunity for expansion, growth, maybe some grace or good fortune comes around this time. The sun opposes Mars on the 13th, and Mercury goes retrograde this day, so this can be a day of arguments, October 13th. October 14th, let's see, the sun is trine the North Node. I actually want to wrap this up because I realize I've been going for a long time. What I will say, I talked about the full moon. October 22nd begins Scorpio season. There's a bunch of other stuff happening in the October sky, but it ends with the full moon in Taurus, in your sign, the blue moon, October 31st. That blue moon brings a big surprise. And that's it for the forecast for Taurus for the month of October 2020. If you like this video, give me a like. If you didn't like it, please give me a thumbs down, but I hope you liked it. Please follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. Please share this video with other Tauruses that you know. Have a wonderful October, Taurus. Thank you.